Triple E EDC back again with another knife sale. So this is actually the Chavez Rendición Street. This is actually not for sale. This is the giveaway knife for my Patreon members for the month of March. So if you're watching this, this is probably, I believe this is going live for non-patrons on March 31st. It goes live for patrons on March 30th. So if it's still March 31st, you can still get in on this. So if you become a member of the Patreon before the calendar flips to April 1st in Central Time, then I will go ahead and include you in the giveaway. So the giveaway again for March is the Chavez Rendición Street, and this is going to be the last chance to enter for the month. Next month's knife will be announced, in a few days, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you to my Patreon members for always continuing to support, and I'm going to go ahead and give you on the knife sale just a heads up that if you haven't been a part of one of my knife sales before, I generally give significant discounts to my patrons, and they get early access. So I generally do around one knife sale a month, not always, but around that. And you get discounts 5, 10, 15% based on your level of membership off the knives. So, for a $10 member, for example, can get 10% off. And so if you're buying a $500 knife, you get $50 off the knife for the cost of $10. So it's a pretty good deal. You also get early access, which means a lot of these knives end up selling before or to the patrons a lot of the time. So just be aware of that. At least a lot of the popular ones tend to go. So again, just a little information there. I will also go ahead and do the drawing for the Boker Kaizen. So I did a giveaway video for this a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago or so. I hadn't gotten a chance to do the drawing video yet. Let's go ahead and do that now before we get into the knife sale, and then we're going to go through and get into these things. So real quick, here we go. Let's move the camera around here. So this is going to be the URL here. We're going to go ahead and go to the comment picker, and we will paste the name here, get YouTube comments. Whoops, actually, let's do that again, because we need to filter duplicate users, get YouTube comments. And there's only 58 in this one, so wasn't as heavily participated as some of the other ones, but that means your chances of winning are actually pretty good. The one thing that is, I think the requirement I had on this was that you guys comment, that you've subscribed to Everyday City Carry. So go ahead and let's make sure that's part of the comment. Anyway, let's go ahead and pick the winner. Larry Marcico. So Larry, it's been a while. I know, you have been a subscriber of me and of EDCC for a while. So as you can see here, he's got his own style, and, again, you've been a great viewer and a great friend of the channel, so appreciate you, and I'm really happy to see that you won this one. So go ahead and contact me at triple.e.edc@gmail.com. That's triple.e.edc@gmail.com, and you will go ahead and I'll get that knife, the Kaizen, sent out to you. All right, let's go ahead and get into the knife sale. I'm going to readjust the camera here. And okay, let's get going with the rules of the knife sale. The camera cut out there, but let's get going with the rules. So in general, the way I run these is if you want one of the knives, you have to email me at triple.e.edc@gmail.com. Do not leave a comment at the bottom of this video. It will not count as sort of claiming a knife. So email me at triple.e.edc@gmail.com. The way I generally run it is if you give a full price offer, then you automatically get the knife if you're the first person to do that. Otherwise, I do take offers on all knives, but if somebody comes in after you've given an offer, and it's not a full price offer, and their offer is full price, they will automatically get the knife. That's generally how I run these. It incentivizes you to give a full price offer. I generally try to price these pretty well, especially with the Patreon discounts. And again, you can join Patreon at the same time that you're buying a knife to apply the discount. So makes it very easy and very cheap to go ahead and do these things. So you know, that should incentivize you. In general, also just be aware for international buyers. I do allow international sales, but the risk of shipping once it leaves the U.S. is on you, and that includes customs in your home country, and it also will. I also expect that you'll pay the difference in shipping between general U.S. shipping and shipping to your country. So those are my general rules. Let me go ahead and do the first knife. The first knife is one that I think is actually probably going to sell pretty quickly. This is the CKF Sakosha, and this is the hand satin version. As you can see, this is a really nice hand satin. This is the Marfione design and CKF collaboration. So you can definitely see the Marfione influence, sort of has that SOCOM Elite influence there. And you can see here it has this, I don't know, what is this? I can't remember if this is Timascus or Mokutai. I think it's Mokutai, is the clip here. And it also has a standard clip with the Marfione dagger logo, the dagger logo right here. And that comes in there as well, in the pouch, as well as, you know, the extra hardware and everything else that CKFs generally come with. But as you can see, the action on this is guillotine drop shot, right? Absolutely guillotine drop shot once it gets past that detent. And this is excellent. So the ergonomics on this are quite good. And I'm not going to get, I shouldn't get too far into all these knives because, you know, we'll be here all night. But yeah, this is a really, really nice one. So this is going to run for $800. I've seen them run anywhere from like $750 to $850, given the discounts and everything else. I think that's a decent price. Because it's a hot commodity, I'm going to hold there on the pricing. But you know, feel free to make an offer. So that is that one. Next up is the CKF Fif20. So this is a Fif20. As I said, this is also hand satin here. Really nice hand satin blade. And this is the all-tie version. You can see there's a tiny snail trail right there, and this has been carried, so you know, you can see a couple of snails here and there, but nothing too major, and the stonewash on this hides it extremely, extremely well. The blade looks pretty, you know, the blade looks excellent, so I don't have any concerns about the blade. And again, it has that that CKF absolute drop shot action there, which is excellent. This is a front flipper, and the front flipper works really well. I did not like, you know, I felt like there were some sharp edges on the carbon fiber version on the bolsters, and whatever they did on this one, I don't feel the same way about this one. The handle, it actually solves a lot of the problems. I think the pricing is better on this one too, if I remember correctly. But I'm going to be asking $425 on this one. So that's that one. Next up is an interesting one. This is the Crucarda Shaman. So this is Shaman. This is the Spyderco Shaman, and this is the Crewwear version, but the Crewwear micarta. Now there is a Z-Wear version, the Z-Wear micarta, that had to come out because this Crucarda one was so popular. Now I do have the original micarta scales, and that will come with the knife. These are Meat and Boss Zircuti scales, dark Zircuti. So these scales are they're expensive. So just the scales by themselves were like I think they were $550. So they are pretty expensive in and of itself. The Crucarda Shaman, and obviously the Shaman keeps going up in price, but the Crucarda Shaman actually goes for, I think it a while ago went for like $300. I'm assuming now it's probably around $350. At one point they were going for, you know, $400 plus. If you guys have different pricing on that, just let me know. But as far as the knife itself, that was like, you know, I'm valuing that at about $300. The scales are going to be valued at about $500, but I'm going to actually charge, what do I have here? $700 for the knife altogether, if you guys want the knife altogether. If you just want the scales, if you have a Shaman, you want to put the scales on, then the scales themselves, like I said, I think I paid $5.50 for these. The scales themselves are going to be, let me go ahead and take a look at my pricing here. The scales themselves are going to be $4.50, and if you want to buy the Crew Carta or with the original scales, then that's going to be $300. But I will not sell the Crew Carta Shaman without selling the scales. So either you got to buy the whole knife, or someone's got to buy the scales if you want to buy the Shaman. So that is that one. And by the way, yes, you can front flip it. If anyone is wondering about the Shaman, can you front flip it? The answer is yes, and you can Spidey flick and do all your regular rollouts. This also comes with a Lynch clip, I should mention. So the Lynch clip is going to be an added bonus. I believe I have the original clip, and I will send that with it. No, I do have the original clip, and I'll send that with it. But this is sort of the Fade Anno Lynch clip, which I think pairs pretty well with the Zircuti scales. This is a Les George VECP. This is the XHP version, and these are the Morpho scales. These are titanium scales, obviously, and this is my favorite version of this knife. So pretty happy to have this, and this is one that it's on washers. As you can see, the action there is smooth, but it is not drop shut. But you can see when the lock bar is depressed how easily it drops shut. So that should give you an idea of how smooth it is. But this is a workhorse. It's an absolute workhorse, and if you're looking for something that's a little bit fidgety, not too much, is nice and smooth, and can be a workhorse, this is an excellent knife for that. Really, really excellent knife. So these go for $4.50, I think, originally, and they sell out generally when they're available. So I'm going to list this one at $4.25. Again, Patreon discounts can make that cheaper. This is a Microtech Ultratech. This is the Mola Labe version, and I think this is one of the coolest versions of it. You can see the bronze clip here. There is some wear on the clip, as you can see. This is a knife that's been carried. There is a little bit of wear on the body here, but this, I think, is actually part of the design itself. The little markings inside the Spartan helmet. And then you can see the blade, the condition is pretty good. I don't see any obvious signs of any problems. So action on this is good, and like I said, really good condition. The Ultratech, I'm going to list at, I think I had it at $3.30 last time. It didn't sell, but I'll go ahead and list this at $3.15. Again, Patreon discounts apply. I think these are like $3.60 originally, so hopefully you guys will find that to be a good price. Again, I'm open to offers on things. This one's an interesting one. This is the DLT exclusive Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, and it comes with this lanyard. The Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero Heretic Manticore X. So this is that sort of marbled carbon fiber with the blue in it. I don't know if this is, I think this is fat carbon, actually. I'm not exactly, I can't remember if this is marbled or fat carbon, but very cool knife. As you can see, it has that slight recurve in it. Nice black blade here. I believe this is DLC, LMAX. Very nice light body here. I believe this is, I don't know what the front side is. It feels like it could be G10, but it's cooled like aluminum. It's interesting. But the back side is this carbon fiber, which I think is really cool. These are like $850 normally. I'm going to be asking $670 on this. So $670, and again, Patreon discounts apply. You can make that much cheaper. Next up, we are going to do the Microtech LCC Lightfoot. So this is this is a 20-year-old knife. Go ahead and take a look at that date on there. This is in really, really good condition for being a 20-year-old knife. And as you can see, the fit and finish does reflect sort of the period that this was made, but this is in really, really good condition at the time, or I should say now, and is a really good representation of what was there at the time. It is, again, it's a dual action, so it has a bolster lock, so you're going to push up on this bolster like this, and there you go. And you can see sort of how that bolster goes, and so you just push that down, lock it in, and then it's a manual, and it's washers. I won't say it's drop shut or anything like that, but it is really smooth. Like you can really see, for being a dual action, especially a 20-year-old dual action, it's really smooth. So I believe it's on washers, and it, like I said, has that dual action here. This does have like a detent, like that at the time, detents were pretty light back then. So just be aware that the detent is a little light, but it's pretty easy to flick out. Not really much of an issue on flicking it out, but it is a light detent, just something to note. So be aware of that. This, I believe I paid like $650 for this, or I think it was $700. I maybe got a deal at $650. This is gonna be, I'm gonna ask $635 on this, and we'll see how that goes. So next up, we're gonna do the Case Marilla. So this is a surprisingly smooth knife. This is on bearings and is really, whoops, I gotta get past the detent, but the reverse detent. But look at that. It really, I did not expect a Case knife to be that smooth. It really, they did a great job on the bearings, and I think this won like American Knife of the Year, Blade Show or something last year. I can't remember which show. Maybe it was a show. I think it was Blade Show. And so it was a pretty good representation. This is going to be $90. I think these go for 120-ish, 130, something like that. So I'm going to list this at $90, and that's that one. By the way, this is a G10 insert with aluminum, is what the build is on this. Deep carry pocket clip, S35 VN steel. It's just so we know what the specs we're running on this, and this is an aluminum frame lock. Okay, next up we have the Buck Onset. Stainless steel frame lock with the post clip. That's actually a really good clip. G10 show scale. This is going to be S45 VN, which is boss heat treated, which means it's going to be a really, really good heat treat. This is on bearings and has a surprisingly crisp detent, and really fires out. These are like 187, 190, new, and I'm going to be listing this one for 115. So pretty good deal on this, and this is a really, really good knife that I think a lot of people are sleeping on that they shouldn't, mainly because it's a stainless steel frame lock, and a lot of people are turned off by that, but man, this is a good knife. So check that one out. Next up, we have the Olamic Rainmaker. This is a compound grind harpoon blade. This is titanium with this one-hole configuration. This was made for an employee, actually, and as a result is a unique configuration. I know they do a lot of unique knives, and everything is not quite the same, but they do some that are, they look very similar. I don't think this one's ever been repeated, so that's pretty good. What was I going to say? So this is yeah, I don't think this one's ever been repeated. And this is going to be, these are like, I think 700-ish or something new. So I'm gonna be asking a lot less. These don't hold necessarily the best value on the secondary market. So I'm going to be asking $435 for this one, which I think is a pretty good price. It does have a choil up here, and this is hand satin. That's the other thing that's really nice about this is it's compound grind and hand satin. So got that one. Next up is the Hoback Summit. So this is a large knife. Just so you guys see how large it is, here is a knife, you know, people probably know this is Spyderco Shaman. The Shaman's a big knife in and of itself. This thing is absolutely bananas huge. So if you were disappointed in the sumo at how small the sumo is, this is every bit, you know, much bigger, and this is sort of the big brother of the sumo. Now, I will say there is that recent controversy with Hoback. He didn't, and I'll talk about this in another video. He didn't go out and claim necessarily, as far as I can tell, that his knives were USA made, but he knowingly sold, you know, this particular model I think was made in China. Some of his knives are US made apparently, some of them are made in China or some other countries he claims, and you know, but these were knowingly sold to like USA made blade, and DLT Trading as US knives, not sold as US knives, but the dealers were led to believe they were US knives, and I think the public was too. So just be aware of that when you buy it, you know, from me or from any dealer. But these are like $650 knives, and I'm going to give you sort of a discount because of I'll eat the loss on essentially the the fact that there's some controversy here. But this is, you know, controversy aside, it's a really, really good high quality knife, and this is basically brand new, other than maybe it's cut a few things just for some short testing. This is a surprisingly good slicer for its size. So it has a lot of room to come to a finer edge because of how big it is. So this is, I'm going to be asking $525 on this. And again, the discounts apply, so you can easily get this under $500 for a $650 knife. Next up is the Cold Steel Formax, the Formax Scout, sorry. This is the injection molded version. This is also AUS 10, not the S35VN version. And this has been used and carried, and as you can see, has some nicks on the pocket clip and things like that. And you know, the edge, as you can see, has been worn a little bit, the finish on the edge. So the DLT exclusive versions like this are like $120 or something like that. I'm going to be asking $80 on this. So again, you guys can make offers, but you know, $80 and Patreon discounts apply and everything. So this is a massive knife in and of itself as well. Next up, kind of a cool entry here, the Mechforce M1. This is a marble carbon fiber that's over here, and the design on this, I don't know if you notice, it actually covers the pivot and everything else. There's no screws showing, no pivot showing. It is one flat design over here, which I think is really an interesting design. It is on bearings and is incredibly smooth. It is without, you know, with the smooth body right here, it actually is quite addicting to fidget with. Like really, really addicting to fidget with. So I think that's pretty cool. When this first came, it was a little difficult to Spidey flick because the D10 was a little stiff. The D10 did break in, and now it is, the D10 is still great. You know, as you can see, it works very well. But, you know, this is pretty easy to Spidey flick now. And as a result, the entire thing ends up being pretty fidget friendly. So You know, very cool blade. As you can see, has some jimping here, and you know, is a frame lock. Pivot is hidden on both sides. The only screws visible on the entire knife are the ones for the lock bar insert. So again, kind of a really cool design. Mechforce, of course, is not MTech. Mechforce is the brand that makes some really nice LED flashlights, like really high-end flashlights. Next up is the Gooseworks folder, Resco Gooseworks folder. These are discontinued. Well, I don't know if they're discontinued, but they're out of stock. And who knows when they'll come back in stock. There's a new model Resco just put out that is probably taking precedence over this, although I don't know that for sure. But this is pretty cool. It has, this is actually a really, really underrated knife. These are like, these can be had new between like, you know, I think it was between $275 and $300, depending on when you got them or whether there was a discount available. But these are, you know, titanium body. They have the thumb disc. They are a liner lock, but the liner lock is inset into the titanium, so it feels nice and you know, solid. So it's CPM 154. You've got, you know, the bead blast blade here, which is a finish that I absolutely love. And it's just a really, really cool knife. I know Resco makes like watches and stuff. I'm not really big into watches, but you know, that is one of the things. Be aware, by the way, this has quite a significant amount of wear on the clip. I must have rubbed up against something, you know, solid metal or something. But you know, this has been used in carry. There's some snail trails here, so just be aware of those. But other than that, this is in really good condition. But it is a user, so just be aware of that. It is on bearings, by the way, and does have excellent action in general as a result. And yeah, so just that's the Resco Gooseworks folder. I'm asking $225 on this one. Another thumb disc knife, the ZT0640. This is an Emerson design, as you can tell. Comes with a lynch clip here, bronze lynch clip. This is, it also comes with the original scales. This is an LMF micarta scale. I believe this is the OD green micarta, and then this is a bronze anodized frame from USA made blade. So be aware that this is not the original colors, but I don't know for sure. You can ask Scott from USA Made Blade, but I think you know, I think they're factory authorized. I don't think that's really an issue for Kai's warranty anyway. But the anodizing they do they do excellent work. And this, by the way, it's on washers for a ZT, and it really has excellent, really smooth action. It looks like I'm, you know, spending a lot of force. It's really only because I'm under the camera, but this is really super smooth, like very, very smooth on washers. So kind of a cool thing. It can also be front flipped, as you can see here, although there is no jimping on the flipper tab, so you have to have some dexterity in order to front flip it. But as you can see, it's not too difficult to do that. And then, of course, you can thumb flick it and Spidey flick it all you want. And I really like the clip upgrade because the original clip is really difficult to get in and out of the pocket. But this has really good lock bar access. I'm sort of talking myself out of selling it here, but it is an excellent knife. I'm going to be asking $225 for this one as well. Next up, this is the Recon 1 from Cold Steel. Now, this is not any Recon 1. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this has a couple of things that you can't get anymore. One is a Satin Tanto blade with, I don't think they have the Satin Tanto with the Black G10. I think that was a Canadian exclusive. But the this is a hollow grind. They don't make the hollow grind anymore. They just make all flat grinds now, especially now that GSM is in charge and Lynn Thompson no longer owns the company. But this is a hollow grind. It is in basically like new condition, and you just don't see cold steels in this condition. S35 VN with the hollow grind. Satin Tanto, so because of the rarity of this, I mean, generally the Recon ones go for between 120, 140. I'm going to be asking 150 for this, but again, I'm open to offers. But this is sort of like, the rare bird. I think people are overpaying a little bit sometimes for the hollow grinds. But they really do make a pretty good difference on some of the cold steels. So I can definitely understand people spending the money. In some of the cold steel groups, I see people paying some ridiculous prices for some hollow grinds. So just be aware of that. And that's mainly because I don't know how collectible they are, but they're definitely no longer available. Next up is the Buck 110 Slim Pro TRX. This is the Torx model. That is disassemblable, as you can see here, and it has the upgraded clip. This has been carried, as you can see, so there is a little bit of clip wear here, so be aware of that. But this is S30V, Boss heat treated, and really is an excellent overall knife. Really, really underrated knife is the 110, and especially in the S30V. This model with the disassemblable S30V, it's about 110 new. It's just a really, really good all-around value, and this one's going to be $80 if you buy it from me here. I don't know what these are going for in the secondary, but I'm going to assume that's a good price. So there we are. Next up is another knife that is hard to get. It comes in a sheath. It is the Reate Exo. So this is a gravity knife. So know your knife laws. It is a gravity knife, and you can definitely. I'm going to stand up here so you can sort of see how this works. But yeah, it's hard to do under the camera actually. But basically, you hold on to this end and you let that go, and it gives you. It allows it to go in and out. So, you can throw it like that and then pull it back, throw it, pull it back. You can use a little wrist to get it out. I had it down much better before, but I haven't necessarily played with this in a little bit. But I had some pretty good, there we go, something like that, right? So, but it's a really fun knife to play with. I will say it is quite loud, so if you are married or have a girlfriend or significant other that, hates your knife clicking and knife sounds, just be aware that this is a loud knife. But you will carry it on a sheath because you don't want, it opening up in your pocket like that. Also be aware, it feels like the tip is a little rough. I don't think I dropped it or anything, and it looks like the tip is intact, but there's a little bit maybe of a chip on the tip. So just be aware of that I just wanted to point that out as an abundance of caution. As far as the actual condition of the knife itself, you can see it is in pretty good condition here. I don't see any obvious, too obvious signs of wear or anything. Let's see. Yeah, I think there might be, I don't know, is that, no, it looks like it's fine. So yeah, I don't see any obvious signs of wear on this. This is, I think these are like, I think they're like 275 new or something, 280 new. I could be wrong on that. I'm going to ask 250 on this. I think they're sold out everywhere, so I think that's probably a good price. But again, if you guys know differently, I'm open to offers, and the Patreon discounts apply anyway. So those are the knives on my knife sale. I did plan, by the way, on giving away a knife as part of this. If you made it to the end, or even if you didn't, I am going to be giving away, and I will sharpen this because it actually needs a sharpening. But this is Kizer Critical. So anyone who buys a knife, for every knife you buy, you will get entered one entry into a drawing for the Kizer Critical. So you know, the more knives you buy, the more entries you get. Thanks so much for watching. And if you watched to the end, thank you for watching to the end. Again, triple.e.edc@gmail.com. If you're interested in any of the knives, triple.e.edc at gmail.com. triple.e.edc@gmail.com. Thank you.